Hi, it's Ileana. So, I've come across some interesting things that I normally would not talk about or think about, but this is becoming part of reality that the dark side is throwing at us. It is unfortunate that this happens sometimes, but when there's beings masquerading as the light, when there's people masquerading as the light when they're not of the light truly, where their frequency is not at the purest form that it could be in some people, there's instances of spiritual rape happening in communities, in new age, occult, cult style groups that are attracting people. We're of the light, we're of the highest vibration, we are of the purest frequency. They seem like that on the surface, people and beings, when they're not as pure as we would think they are. So there's spiritual rapists and spiritual predators out there who can put on a good show, put on a good face. They're our friends, they care about us, they claim to love us, but in reality, they're manipulating us because they take the time to get to know us, to form a relationship of trust, of camaraderie, friendship, community, love and light, when that's all fake. There's no foundation beyond manipulation tactics to ingratiate themselves, to be in our circle of light, to be in the know, to be fully connected to us. A lot of this is happening in the communities, and these spiritual predators are good at getting their hooks into people who are of the light, who are healers, light workers, not fakes, not faking it, doing the real work without any titles of emissary, ambassador, this, that. These titles, there's no substance behind them in these communities. There's just a lot of stories and talk. Ambassadors, gurus, masters, all these phrases, they're just labels. If you're good at what you do in healing, if you're good at history, galactic history, planetary history, you're just good at what you do, and you honestly do your work with humbleness behind the scenes. You're not looking for attention. You're not asking for anything from anyone. You're just being your genuine self, doing your work without these titles, labels, flaming stories of grandeur. You just do your work, and that's it. Humbly doing the work is just genuine, authentic selves. Who are the people that are authentic? Just doing the spiritual healing work, teaching from a pure frequency, teaching from a place of humbleness, respect, and kindness to others, not preying on their energy, not preying on their soul field vibration, like what spiritual rapists and spiritual predators do. They infiltrate the light workers. They come in with a fake sense of love and light, and they infiltrate, and they start having conversations with us. They start connecting to us on a deep level of spirituality, on a deep level of respect, what they claim. But then when something doesn't go right, that they think is wrong, they will attack you. They will go after you. Privately, publicly, they'll find ways to antagonize you. They'll find ways to try to expose you or critique you or tell you what to do, control you, manipulate you to get their own way. Because that's what they know how to do best. Manipulate, coerce, have deep, meaningful conversations with you, to get information from you, to get to know you on a deeper level, to find ways and how they can manipulate you, collect information on you, about you, your family, what matters to you, what is important to you. You think is just part of a friendship when it's part of a manipulative agenda to maybe use against you at some point. Try to shadow you. The good cop, the bad cop. Shadow games. They play shadow games. I'm the good one, you're the bad one. I'm the victim, you're the perpetrator. They play victimization games. They play role games. Those of us who work in the light, we can see this. We can see right through it. There's no guilt trips. There's no, you must be of the purest light. If you're not of the purest light, you're evil, you're bad, you're this, you're that. And the antagonism starts. The accusations start. Those beings and people know how to manipulate you pretty well. They know how to spin a good game, talk the talk, walk the walk. They play the good side, they play the bad side. They play all roles within the game spectrum because they're that good at what they do. And if you can see source field energy of what a person is on a source field, what their soul is truly like energetically, you can spot the shadows and the fragments within the soul field. You can spot the manipulation just by their actions. They think they're all clever and they know what they're doing and they're playing their game. If you understand what the game is, you can easily spot these people, no matter how well they try to put on masks of how good they are, their goodness, to show their goodness. They take extra effort to look good, both energetically and physically, to put on a good vibration, to mask what they really are inside. Their shadow aspects that they don't deal with and work on to deal with their own problems. They just go after others with positivity, with love and light, with compliments and all that stuff. They truly try to find your vulnerabilities and they truly try to become your friend when they're not. And be careful with those people. They can accuse you of things you've never done or even thought about doing. But they say you have in your now of a fallen light spectrum where you are not. So they become part of your field, of your inner circle. And if you spot these things, just cut all ties with them, let it go. Don't engage, don't play the games. Don't play victim, perpetrator. Don't make excuses, apologies. Just let it be. And don't engage in these games. Don't play the field of what these beings and people do. It's not worth it energetically or physically to become part of these games. It's not a high energetic vibration that we want to go into or lower ourselves to be in these cult-like groups that just buy everything lock, stock, and barrel what these beings or people perpetrate as the truth of what is reality when it is not. Is just a false light matrix system. If you are of the light, if you are of a high vibration, a positive, responsible person who strives to be their highest frequency of vibration, in your heart, you're a humble, beautiful, living being. You know who you are. There's no faults or shadows or this or that in your field of what the blame game is being played at. If it's not your resonance, don't resonate at that field of shadow. If you have stuff to work in the shadows aspect of yourself, then you have things to work on. Work on your frequency to be at your purest, highest vibrational self. If you don't have any problems to work on and you're in a good balanced light field, then you're good. There's nothing to worry about or work on, but if there is something to improve or work on, do your work. Work on yourselves at your highest frequency. Work with the shadow and the light to be balanced, because there's both. And again, people are people. Understand the soul frequency vibration and the source field of the people and the beings you're working with, or getting to know, or connecting on any level of reality, energy, physicality, vibration. I really enjoyed reading Diedrich Hubbard, Spiritual Rape, 5 Signs to Help You Identify Spiritual Rape. I know the title sounds controversial, but it was really interesting material because, again, the words spiritual rapist and spiritual predator, those are things that don't often enter my orbit of experience. I deal with all kinds of people and beings, but I don't label things as spiritual rape, spiritual predators. But these beings and people exist in 3D and outside of 3D. They exist in spiritual communities. They exist in the UFO communities, healing communities, New Age communities. Know what you're looking for, and you'll always find the resonance and the vibration of something or someone based on their soul field vibration of who they truly are, what energy they resonate at, what vibration they vibrate at. If it's pure vibration, it's pure. If it's yucky, disgusting shadow energy, gross predator mentality, you'll feel that. You'll know that. You'll know the fakes from the light workers, from the healers, from whoever you're working with. Trust your intuitive self to know who you work with, what you are connecting to, or who and why. Trust your intuitive side, the feeling, the gut feeling that says, this is a good person, this is a bad person, this is good, this is bad. Whatever it is, or in between, trust yourself with the information that comes to you, because you know intuitively what is right and what is wrong, good or bad. You can feel the frequency, you can intuit the frequency to know who the person or the being is that you're dealing with, or the situation. Know thyself, know the situation, understand the beings and the people. Then you truly know what you need to know about them and yourself and others on that higher frequency of knowledge and understanding. Who are they? What are they? Good, bad, in between, or something else completely. It's beyond 3D energy, vibration, frequency. This is where we're at right now with all of that. Sometimes the nicest people, the most sweetest people can be the most predatory people or beings that try to connect with us on some level, understanding their actions, understanding what sometimes agendas could be like. Why are they behaving the way they are? What drives them? What makes them tick? You will know them for who they are based on their actions and behavior. You'll understand somebody or someone or something, how they act, how they behave, how they react to things that happen in this world. If they're very neutral, practice neutrality, and don't react or overreact or get triggered by the most littlest thing in the world, they're balanced. If they overreact, get over-triggered, get angry, get accusatory, defensive, play the blame games, this is your fault, you're responsible, not my problem, not my fault, and try to get you to admit to something that you never did or even thought about doing, playing that blame game, that manipulative game of reaction, overreaction, and seeing what you'll do and how you'll respond to that. Don't respond to it at all. Let your own actions of better behavior tell their own story. Don't fall for these games. Don't play these games. Understand who and what you're dealing with, and don't engage in that game. It's not your energy. It's not your frequency. Don't give it the light of day, the time of day that it does not deserve. Because if you didn't do something wrong, those are not your actions, and that's not what you should be taking onto yourself vibrationally or energetically. Know who you are, be responsible for yourself, work with honor, work with grace, work with integrity, work with being humble, respectful, kind, loving towards others, but don't let others walk all over you and accuse you of things you never did or planned to do or participated in. Spiritual rape, spiritual predatory actions, means, behaviors, those are all things of manipulative ways to engage with you, not of the highest vibration, to get you to play a game that you don't need to participate in because you're not part of the vibration that the predator is resonating at. Don't let yourself resonate back at that same frequency. If somebody's using you, manipulating you, working you, you'll spot it. Eventually, in the beginning, in the middle, or the end, you'll know the frequency because they're trying to lead you to do something that you might not feel comfortable doing or even want to do. There's nothing to admit to. There's nothing to fess up to. There's nothing to apologize for. If you didn't do it, if you didn't do the crime, why would you pay the time for it? That's the question. And this is these manipulative games of shadow and darkness, trying to make it look like the light, the good light, the responsibility, the goodness of something when it's not. Knowing it, spotting it, understanding it, where it's coming from, that takes skill, time, and that takes knowing people pretty well, how to work with people, understanding yourself as well, the degree to who you are as a living being, and what your experiences have been to spot this stuff. Spiritual predators, the fakers, the spiritual rapists. There's also physical rape. That's beyond energetic manipulation, where physically people are abused by rape. That word itself, that connotation of accusation, it brings a disturbing energy with it when somebody uses that word specifically over and over again. It means something, not in a good way. If people use that word, be careful. Don't engage in that behavior with anyone. If you are not a rapist and you did not rape anybody, energetically and physically, don't engage in that behavior. It is not your behavior. Don't do it. Don't play the game. And just be responsible for your own actions. How you behave, how you vibrate, your responsibility to hold your own frequency of the purest light that you can, to be the best you can be. And if somebody tells you that you're not, look at yourself for what you're being told and understand what is the frequency of that. Why they said it, what do they mean by it? Try to understand it for your own sake, for your own learning. Higher consciousness understanding. What does that mean? What is a spiritual rapist? What is a spiritual predator? What is rape? Energetic, physical rape. What does that mean? Perpetrator-victim mentality. There is two sides to those coins. Are you the victim? Are you the perpetrator? Or are you none of the above? Or both? What is it? Is it your responsibility or not? Your frequency or not? Who's telling you this? Who's pointing the fingers at somebody? What being? What person? What organization? What program? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to accomplish? What is the end game, if there's any, or any agendas? Or is it something happening to the people, the beings, organizations within their own circles that they need to deal with, but they're taking it out on you? making you the victim, making you the targeted individual for something, energetically, physically, through abuse or various different kinds of abuses, energetic or physical, because there's many different types of masks that beings and people wear, and organizations and the games they play and engage in, very dark, shadowy games that energetically are heavy and dark, not pleasant to deal with. Understand what you're dealing with, the frequency, the intent, what's behind it. Is it harmless? Is it confusion about something, misunderstanding? What is it? Understand and know it, and don't engage in these frequencies and in these dark games, because there's always something maybe behind it, and you don't need to play that game. You don't need to be targeted. You don't need to engage in that frequency of field, whatever it is. If it's not yours, don't own it. Don't step into it. Don't engage with it. Walk away. Simply walk away. Neutrality. Practice neutrality. Practice understanding, forgiveness, and walk away. Choose to walk away. Forgive it and walk away. At the end of the day, when we say we love somebody, don't harm them and walk away. We all do things we might regret. At the end of the day, at the end of the night, best to say nothing and just walk away than to say something we might regret. By actions, by deeds, by words, by energy, by frequency. Don't do it at the end of the day. If it's not good to do, then don't do it. When I had looked up what spiritual rape or spiritual predators, what that even means, there's no description for it anywhere that I could find that adequately would describe what those beings or people are, yet they exist, until I went back to the spiritual churches, spiritual schools, and found Diedrich Hubbard and Michael Murdad. And Michael Murdad says, they know not what they mean. They know not what they say, and forgive them. Because sometimes beings or people will say things or put things out there energetically that they have no understanding of something. Yet they're using terms, words, energy to put something out there that does not fall within the connotation of what is being expressed. Verbally, energetically, telepathically. Not all beings are of the same frequency, light, intention. Some are dark, some are good, some are bad. I've been listening to Michael Murdad for a couple of weeks now. I think he's a decent spiritual teacher, and I like the sessions that he does in the spiritual church on Sundays. It's interesting. So he means this: don't attract to yourself what you don't want to manifest in your reality. He is very clear. The intention that you use, the words that you speak, the expressions that you put out there, what you put out there is what's attracted to you and others. So he's says, they know not what they mean. They know not what they speak or say, because it is not what it's really being said or expressed. Or it is, but it comes from a place of innocence, yet it's attracting something that shouldn't be attracted to you for manifestation. Because the law of attraction is you say something, you do something, then you attract that to yourself and others by simply putting it out there. And a word like rape, spiritual rape, or spiritual predators, saying those words, putting them out there, it attracts something you don't want to put out there or attract. Yet those phrases do exist. they're out there. So being careful with what we mean, what we say, with what we create, manifest, and put out there into reality. Sometimes that comes back to us or to other people that we connect those things with. It can powerfully come back. The vibration of it, the energy of it, the intent, the meaning, the cause, the outcome of something. It is something that's energetic, vibrational, physical, and it can impact people on powerful levels of good and bad, or just even disgusting energy when they encounter something that sounds very accusatory or wrong. It is off-putting to be told that you're this or that when you're not. Or even if somebody thinks you are, but you're not, it's still upsetting to maybe hear that. But again, you don't have to take that frequency on yourself. You don't have to embody it. If it does not resonate with you, simply do not engage with it. Do not take that within yourself. Do not take the shadow energy within yourself. Don't even think about it twice. Just let it go. Because those people, those beings that tell you something or mean something or express something to you telepathically, physically, verbally, by actions, by words, by meanings, by images, they know not what they mean. They know not what they say, or they're confused, because sometimes we can be confused by our actions or words, or what we are expressing could be said better or done better. It can happen. Misunderstandings happen. Release it, let it go, and do not hold it within you. And do not hold it against other people, whatever that was. Again, within spirituality, release, forgiveness, and letting it go. Not holding that energy within yourself. Those are things that I was reminded of when listening to Michael Murdad and reading parts of the book by Diedrich Hubbard, because I came upon connections and connotations to spiritual rape and spiritual predators. This is something I came upon within my realm of experience, and it needed a deeper, broader understanding of what that actually means. And when you cannot find the definition of those terms, you need to look a little deeper to find what that actually means, and understand it. And now I do understand what that means. And it means sometimes people and beings manipulate each other to such a degree and form where it is encroaching on your energetic field, and it is spiritual rape, and it is spiritual predators who are after you or manipulating you. Your energy, your physicality, they can make you physically ill, sick, and energetically drained. They're beyond energy vampires. They're much more. They're also manipulative people or beings who have not worked through their shadow selves. Who have not worked out their fragments, dark parts of the soul, whatever. They still have a lot of work to do on themselves before they go around pointing fingers at others and whatever. Don't engage in that level of energetic or physical behavior, because there are beings and people or even situations out there where that can happen. I encountered that. I was not spiritually raped. I was not seriously pursued by a spiritual predator, but there were connotations leading up to something connected to that. And I just stopped and went, okay, I'm not well educated on this. I need to know more. And I started looking and researching until I found what this actually means. And don't encroach on other people's energy. Don't step within other people's field of energetic frequency. If something is making somebody uncomfortable, step aside. Do not step within their field of what makes them uncomfortable. Step away. Don't engage. Just leave it alone. Step aside. Let it go and step aside and don't play the game. Don't engage with these beings or people who could be connected to spiritual rape or spiritual predators. Whether somebody's controlling them or they're the controllers, don't engage in the frequency. You feel uncomfortable? Walk away from it immediately. Don't let that energy of heaviness, disgust, and sickness and illness impact you, because these people and beings resonate that energy and they vibrate it out towards others. You feel it? Walk away. Don't play within that field of frequency or vibration. Just walk away. Let it go. Close that, and don't answer it. Don't talk to it. Don't reply. Don't play. Walk away. So it does not go within your resonant field of who you are at your highest vibration, at the best that you can be. This was a new learning curve for me, and I admit that I'm better off knowing what this is than being ignorant to what it is not, or what it could be. Better to know than not to know. It's good I learned what this is, so I understand what that means, because before I didn't fully understand. And I'd rather be better educated than ignorant of what exists out there and what I could be experiencing and what I stumble on sometimes or come in contact with physically, energetically, vibrationally. I also work as a spiritual teacher, so I have a responsibility to know and to understand and to just not participate in that, because I don't want to, and I don't recommend it. Abuse of any type, whether physical, mental, emotional, screaming, manipulation, rape, is wrong. It's abuse. It is unacceptable. It is inappropriate. It is disgusting when somebody else violates somebody else's free will choice and abuses them in any way, shape, or form. Whether accusations, whether physical, beatings, raping, beating somebody up, yelling at somebody, screaming, it's wrong on all levels. It is sickening, it is disgusting, it is inappropriate. Any type of abuse, inappropriate. Manipulation, mental, physical, inappropriate. Anybody who engages in that dark behavior has issues, deep-seated, dark issues they need to deal with. Because spiritual rape, physical rape, and spiritual predators are real. They're real. They exist out there. And we need to protect ourselves from them so they don't abuse anybody else. They seek victims through manipulation, through befriending them, through connecting to you on a personal level, because they want to control you. They want to own you, to have power over you in some way, shape, or form, to create a connection to you so you can't forget them, because they want to have the ultimate power over who you are as a living being, and sometimes even your soul, because they might not be humans. They might be entities. They might be controllers that don't even have a physical form, because they're not in physical form. They're archons. They're the shadows that lurk in the night, the monsters that come out of the shadows, or they can be in human form, in a physical body embodiment, trying to manipulate and control us. Because the puppet masters play their games. The shadow, the dark, it always plays a game. It always plays a game. It has something up its sleeve, that shadow darkness, how it expresses itself. It's oily, it's vomit-inducing, disgusting frequency and energy. You can feel it. It is gross. You will know it and you'll feel it. Even if it's presenting itself in a nice, beautiful package as a gift, it's not a gift. It's something oily and disgusting, masquerading itself as something good. Having discernment, having your intuition to understand when something is not what it seems or what it should be, infiltrating, interfering itself in your life, you'll feel it. You'll understand the frequency because it's not there for your highest good. And if it masquerades itself as for your highest good and does something bad to you or tells you to do something inappropriate, it's not a good thing to do. It's one of the predators or the perpetrators who is playing for the wrong side, not doing good things. Anything that tells you to do something inappropriate or wrong, or encourages you to hurt yourself, or interferes with your life, is not for your highest good. It's threatening your life for the bad side. And if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. It's not what you think it is. Something else. Not of the light, not of the highest good. There's trickster beings out there who manipulate, who cajole, who befriend. Then they betray you because they're one of the predators, the perpetrators, one of these beings or people who want to control you and own you, body and soul. They want to manipulate you for their own gains, for their own dark deeds. Know who you're dealing with. Know who you are working with, because their true colors will always reveal themselves. They always do. They don't just stay behind the scenes. They want to be up front and center. They want to be everything in your world because they want attention on themselves. That's how they are. They want you to pay attention to them, to favor them, to be with them. And they control you. Guess what? They don't get to control you. Because if you know what you're dealing with, you can't be controlled or manipulated by any of these beings or people or organizations. You can put a stop to it and say no. Free will choice. No, no, no. You don't get to hurt me. You don't get to violate me. You don't get to perpetrate whatever on me because I don't agree with it. Non-compliance. I don't comply. I don't consent. No thank you to the fakes, the tricksters, the false fake light workers. No. No consent is given. Access denied. Access denied to the energy, to the perpetration, to all of it. Not of the highest light, not welcome here. No thank you. Goodbye. What is meant by goodbye is these predators, they don't own your trust. They don't own your loyalty. They do not own you at all. They're the ones that go after innocent people and they betray them and try to literally own them and control their lives, control their creativity, control their self-will to express themselves, literally being controlled for your information, for your actions, for your way of being, creating, for who you are. They want to own you, your information. They want to control your behavior, and it's obsessive compulsive behavior that they're exhibiting, these predators, because they need to validate their own self-worth by controlling others and limiting free will choice for others to be themselves, their true original selves. If you're betrayed, your trust is broken, and you're shattered because you were abused mentally, physically, verbally, that trust is gone. It's betrayed and broken. And to put the shadow on you, that you're the dark one and the abuser when you were abused, that's how they want to control you mentally and physically, by putting the blame on you, that you're the bad one who did this. You're the perpetrator. It's your fault that you were abused because you created the problem. You did it to yourself. You created it. No, you didn't. Don't play the victim. Don't play the perpetrator. You didn't do it. It's not on you. Somebody hurt you. That is not on you that you were abused. You have the right to be free and not to play the games of the abuser who is hurting you. Not physically, not mentally, not emotionally. Anyone who is abusing anybody else that way and accusing them of being dark and of wrongdoing, have a look at your own behavior and your own self and what you're doing to others, because that's the perpetrator behavior, playing the victim and perpetrator at the same time, because you need to validate your self-worth, that you're the good one, that you're the good guy when you're not the good guy. That's just victimization of yourself and others, because you don't own your own self-worth and confidence, pointing fingers at others when you have your own stuff to deal with. That's what these perpetrators do. They like to point fingers. They like to turn you against others, to make you the dark one, the shadow being, when you're not a shadow being, when you're a light being, a light worker, a decent being, a decent person, living your life with honor and integrity to the best ability that you can, and you're not trying to hurt anybody. You're just living your life in your freedom and sovereignty of free will choice to live an honorable, decent life. Know that you're honorable. Know that you're decent. Know that you are worth it. Self-worth, self-confidence, knowing who you truly are as a good person who hasn't done anything wrong based on what somebody else said, who's the perp, spiritual rapist, the spiritual predator, the abuser, the perpetrator of all these bad things that they made happen to you because they have shadow issues and abuser issues that they need to literally own and address, because they're a predator. That's what they do. They can't control themselves. Therefore, they need to be stopped so they don't harm and abuse anybody else, whatever that means. Stopping them means stopping them, disengaging from them, stopping the abusive cycle of abuse. Whether it's being you yourself stop it, you report it to somebody who can stop it, the proper authorities, it needs to stop so you're not victimized by these beings or people anymore, or organizations who are targeting you. Abuse is abuse. It is abuse. It is wrong. It is wrong to abuse others. Bullying is wrong. Victimization is wrong. Harming others is wrong. It shouldn't be done in this world. Yet it's being perpetrated against innocent people who cannot protect themselves. They let it go on and on and on because they don't know how to stop it. power of self-will to self-respect yourself and not be victimized. That's the first step to stopping an endless cycle of victimization and various forms of abuse. When you say no, when you stand up to yourself, when you say enough is enough, I don't want to live in abuse and victimization, cycle of rape, betrayal, pain, and suffering. You have to end it first for yourself. Then the perps don't have power over you because they do not own you. Body and soul, they don't. Only you yourself own your body and your soul. Nobody owns you. Nobody has the right to do that to you because you're free. Nobody owns anything that is you except you. You own yourself, your dignity, your honor, and your right for self-respect and to be treated well by others, because you deserve to be treated well and not abused by anyone or anything in this world or beyond. Not physically, not energetically, it's inappropriate. Should never be done. Nobody deserves to be harmed. Nobody deserves to be abused. No. Also, there's this feeling of self-entitlement. This is mine. It doesn't belong to you. This is my information. This is my right. This, and this. A long list of things that people who are narcissistic, who are overprotective, triggered gatekeepers, mine, not yours. Not your creativity, not your information, not your original thought, all mine. I thought of it, I did it, I came up with it. All mine, not yours. And they insist on it, they repeat it obsessively. And they don't think that they're not the only ones in existence. The narcissism, the self-entitlement issues, the narcissistic behavior, the pushiness, the control factor manipulation that they insist on engaging in, these people know what they're doing because this is not the first time they've ever done this before. Most likely they've done it numerous times, and it's just the way that they're programmed to behave, to operate. When they feel threatened by somebody who has knowledge, who has ability, who has creativity, they're triggered by it because they're not the first ones to do it, to put it out there, to express it. They want to limit that information. So they're the first ones to be out there, to talk about it with these people, to control the narrative as best that they can. But they can't control it. They can't control anybody else's free will choice or soul will desire for creativity and expression. Cannot control other people telling them what to do and insist upon it and push upon it over and over again obsessively. It doesn't work that way. Free will choice allows us to be free, to express ourselves, to be free, to be our true selves without outside manipulation by others. No interference, no blocking truth, no blocking, hoarding information, keeping truth outside of reality. It's not working this way anymore. Old systems crumbling, falling apart. No more abuse, no more threats, no more interferences. It ends here and now. These bad ones, the shadows, the gatekeepers, the controllers, the puppet masters, the archons, the human entities, non-human entities, incarnate, not incarnate, physical, non-physical, you do not have the right to control us, to control what we do, who we are, how we live, and what we do in life. You have no power to do it, no power to control others. This game is ending. The shadow game is almost at an end. Your power stops energetically, physically. You don't have the right to do it anymore. No right, no acceptance, none of that. Putting others to be powerless and without free will choice is censoring people from living their lives. It is not fair, it is not honest, it is disturbing, disgusting, and despicable. Playing the good cop while you're the bad cop, playing games, making others look bad, and making yourself feel good and look good. When you're putting others down and not taking self-responsibility for your own actions and how you behave and comport yourself in this world, 3D world and beyond. What's happening now goes beyond 3D reality, way beyond that. It is something totally new and different. Everybody is seeing each other for what they are because they can feel the energy and the frequency of what you are, who you are, and what you do. People are awakening to that reality. This is coming online as a truth, as an experience, as an expansion and a frequency beyond physicality. It's energetic, vibrational, and frequency based of who people are as a soul field vibration. Soul field vibration. Who are you on the soul level? What is your energy? What do you embody? How do you behave? It's all energetic and physical. We can see it, we can feel it, we can intuit it. We can vibrate to it. And if it's not a good vibration, we're not going to engage in it. It's not healthy to engage in something that does not feel right or good to us. Just don't play the game. The most accountable thing that we can do is be responsible for our own actions, the way we behave with integrity, honor, respect, kindness, love towards ourselves and others. Respect boundaries, respect personal differences, don't engage, don't argue, don't try to prove a point. If somebody's not listening to you or refuses to listen when you've said, I was doing this, I was doing that, I wasn't trying to hurt you, I wasn't trying to step on you, I wasn't trying to take something away from you. If a person refuses to hear the truth and your honesty, they refuse it. They cannot handle the truth in what you're saying and what you are responsible for and what you're doing. They can't handle it. They're not taking it in. Don't try to convince them otherwise. Don't engage. Don't play the game. Because again, people will believe whatever they want. If they're stubborn, if they're stuck on something, stuck in their own ways, stuck in a loop of never-ending mistrust, and not trusting anybody, not believing them when they're being told that somebody didn't do something. They didn't do the crime that they should be paying the time for. Again, perpetrator mentality. Somebody accuses you of something, somebody insists you need to apologize for something despicable that you did, which you never did. You're not going to own that on yourself, to apologize for it, because you weren't out of hand. You didn't cross the line. You didn't cross the boundary. Did nothing wrong that was wrong or offensive, where you have to pay for the crime that you never did, or apologize or go out of your way to ingratiate yourself for something you never did, that you need to take responsibility for based on somebody else's beliefs, or say so over and over again. Don't play the game. Don't engage in it. You are responsible for you. We are responsible for ourselves, not for anybody else's actions or inactions, misdeeds, crimes, etc., etc. If you see something being done wrong, if you see somebody being abused, report it. Do the right thing, report it, to make sure responsibility is taken for the misdeeds, for the misactions, for the crimes, for whatever is done wrong by somebody else. If they are guilty of something, then there are ways to make sure those actions and choices are not repeated again. Report it, make sure Those people are not abused, taken advantage of. If you have nothing to hide and you did nothing wrong, you did nothing wrong because you didn't do anything that's considered a crime or bad. It's considered spiritual rape or spiritual predatory behavior. You weren't the one. You didn't engage. You didn't start it. You do your best to live your life because you're innocent of wrongdoing. You didn't do anything. You're responsible for yourselves. The goodness that you are, the loving person that you are, the kindness. And if you ever did do something wrong that you're responsible for, apologize for it, admit it, own it, be responsible for your own behaviors, good and bad. If you know something wasn't right, something wasn't done correctly, then do apologize because, hey, if we're in the wrong, we're in the wrong. If we didn't do something right or we misstep, cross boundaries, apologize. You know yourself well. What's right and wrong. You understand yourselves pretty well. Own your own responsibilities for whatever you do or not do, based on integrity, honor, and respect for yourselves and others who you deal with. Because energetically, it's the right thing to do. Thank you so much, and namaste.